Welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's just finished. Gent 1, West Ham United 1 in the Europa Conference League quarter-finals. Now, let's start with the positives. We drew. We take the game back to London Stadium next week with we are arguably the favourite. Well, it would make us the favourites with the bookies, but whether we're favourites or not after that performance is another matter. But we take it back to the London Stadium with it all to play for after a draw over in Belgium. I thought the substitutes worked well, or one or two of them did anyway. I thought Antonio was a bit of a handful when he came on. But Ben Rama looked okay in spells. I thought Paqueta was really good when he came on. That's possibly where all the positivity ends, though. So if you're only here for the positive stuff, now's the time to go, because I am not happy about that game whatsoever. In the first half, we scored right at the end there with Danny Ings, but in the first half, we were terrible. We were all over the place. Tactically, we were all over the place. Individual performances were poor. There was a lot of poor performers out there tonight. When we beat Fulham at the weekend, it was sort of the ends justify the means. We won the game against Fulham, and defensively, they were really, really good. Individually, each defender had a really good game. Midfield played quite well, and the attack was quite poor against Fulham. But tonight, you're going to struggle to pick 5 players that had a good game for West Ham tonight. We were really, really bad. There were some really horrific performances out there for West Ham, but tactically in the first half, we were all over the shop. Gent were dropping the ball in behind our defence time and time again, and we couldn't deal with it. Every time it landed in between Johnson, Ogbonna, Agerd, they were panicking. They didn't know what to do. There was no composure. We did not look good whatsoever. We did not look confident whatsoever at all. And it was a really tough watch, actually. It was really difficult to enjoy that first half. We went 1-0 up through a handball from Agerd, and this is where rules apply. It is a handball. It does get chalked off correctly. It's arguably a bit harsh on Agerd because he does nothing wrong. You know, the keeper goes up, catches it, drops it, bounces up, hits Agerd in the hand and goes into the net. He doesn't know anything about it, but letter of the law, it should have been ruled out. It was ruled out. But we did make it 1-0 through Danny Ings just before half-time. I'll tell you what, though, one of West Ham's best, but I'm not even taking the piss here, that ball boy had more impact on the game for West Ham than a lot of our team did that played in that game. The ball boy is probably going to get a bit of a rollicking tomorrow, but he throws it to Soufal really quickly so we can continue attacking on the break. Great throw in by Soufal, gives it to Jared Bowen. Whether he looks or not to see where Danny Ings, I don't know, or he just puts it into the area that Danny Ings should be, and there is Danny Ings, who does well to stay on side, puts it into the back of an empty net. West Ham are 1-0 up, and that's all Danny Ings did. The entire first half, didn't see him. The only time I did see him was when he was running backwards, chasing the ball. But in possession, did nothing, Danny Ings. But he got his goal. I guess that's what he's there for. The problem is, the game didn't suit him whatsoever. The way we were playing did not suit Danny Ings whatsoever. The only thing that did suit Danny Ings was having Jared Bowen up front alongside him, and the goal displayed that. Like I said, Bowen got the ball, just puts it into the area where Ings should be, and he's there to put it into the back of the net. Happy days. So we went 1-0. We went in 1-0 up at half-time, and I almost felt guilty. I actually felt guilty that we were winning because, again, we're all over us. They were by far the better team tactically, and like I said, individual performers, they were the better team. Now, the second half, I was disappointed to see no substitutes. I was hoping that Danny Ings would have got subbed off at half-time despite his goal, because I thought I would have liked to see Cornet come on because a bit more pace up front alongside Bowen, because I felt the game was going to get a little bit stretched. And in some ways, it did, but we sat a lot deeper in the second half. Now, I get why we've done that. I get it, because like I said, first half, that ball over the top was on every single time. It was causing us all sorts of bother. So we got rid of that problem, which was, right, the defence is now going to drop deep. But what it did do was create another problem, which is the space now, instead of being behind the defence, is now in front of the defence. Rice and Downs, they struggled, and it wasn't because of them. Now, I don't think Downs in particular, I think in possession was a bit ropey tonight. I think he did some good interceptions, some good blocks, a couple of good tackles. There was one last sort of ditch tackle that he had to do in the second half, whilst on a booking as well. It's a very difficult thing, and you get it wrong, you're sent off kind of thing. So out of possession, I think Downs had a good game. In possession, not so much. I thought he was, I say rusty to put it politely. I thought he was very clumsy. I thought his passing wasn't very good tonight. But him and Rice in the second half had a really unforgiving task in that midfield, because the space between our defence and our attack was massive. It was pretty much the 18-yarder to the halfway line, and there was only really Downs and Declan Rice in there. Of course, Emerson and Soufal were as well over on the wing backs, but in the middle of the pitch, there was only really those two. Lanzini was on the pitch, but I thought he was poor tonight. I didn't think he was very good in the first half or the second half. Would have liked to have seen him removed at half-time as well, and probably I would have put Fanals on. I'll be honest with you, I forgot when I was doing the halftime thing, I forgot Paqueta was on the bench. Now, Paqueta did come on eventually. He made a big difference. I thought he was just the best player on the park by a country mile. But Lanzini was just anonymous. To bring on Benrahma, I thought was the wrong sub to do. We were screaming out for that midfield to get plugged, and we didn't do it. Now, before the substitutions, obviously, we conceded the goal, unfortunately. And I'll tell you what, it's a brilliant, brilliant goal. By again, it's a really good passing and build up. The 1-2 takes Declan Rice out the game completely. Then he passes the ball through Ogbonna's legs into Cuypers, whatever his name is, Cuypers. I can't remember his name. Does really well. As soon as Ogbonna's marking him, Ogbonna then has to step out to close down the Gent right wing back, who's taking up that, occupying loads of space. Like I said, quick 1-2 behind Declan Rice. Downs is out the equation. Rice out the equation. He's in front of our 18-yarder. Ogbonna steps out, which leaves the striker free. So Garrett has to come over. Johnson comes over. It's a really composed finish. It's a really good bit of play by the striker. Great goal by Gent as well. We did the subs, and I do feel that Benrahma one was wrong. Now, when Benrahma come on, I thought he was okay. He wasn't great. He wasn't bad. He was okay. But it was a bit of a strange sub because a lot of the time, Benrahma was going out and playing sort of on the left wing. And Lanzini was like more of a number 10 role. But Benrahma was there at times, but he kept drifting out to the left on his natural side, which just completely unbalanced our team altogether. And I just thought we were really struggling in midfield. Really, really struggling. Like I said, when Paqueta come on for filling downs, much better. The way he can hold on to the ball, he doesn't mind taking on players. His passing's fantastic. He has a really lovely ball through to Jared Bowen, but they were still sort of outnumbering us all. It felt like they were outnumbering us all over the pitch tonight. It really did. But our defense was atrocious individually. Now, a lot of this, before I'm speaking as if we've lost, we've got a draw. It's a decent result. It's a decent result. I thought we would draw tonight. I thought it would be a draw. And I don't think it's the end of the world. Like I said, I make us favourites for next week, despite the performance tonight of Gent and despite the performance tonight of West Ham. From what I've seen, we were terrible tonight. And Gent, I feel, were quite good, yet we still got the draw. And Ariola, Gent will feel a little bit unlucky tonight. Ariola wasn't that busy. He wasn't bombarded with shots or anything like that. There's a lot of half chances for Gent, though. If we improve next week, we will win next week. I actually feel quite comfortable in saying I think we'll win next Thursday. But tonight, we were not good. But so while a lot of it's on David Moyes, and tactically it's on David Moyes, a lot of it's on the players tonight. They were poor. I thought Gerd was really poor. I thought Ogbonna was okay. I thought Ogbonna was fine. Ben Johnson, that's one of his worst games in West Ham shirt. I thought against Brighton, he was really poor. I think he was poor tonight. He was terrible. It got to the point where it was difficult to watch Ben Johnson play this evening because I felt really bad for him because he was struggling. I mean, there's no lack of effort on Ben Johnson's part. He didn't give up or anything. He was trying. He was giving 100%, but he was just, I say, out of his depth. It shouldn't be. We're playing Gent. He should be fine. This level of opposition should be fine for him. But he was terrible tonight. Out of possession, in possession, he was really poor in all parts of his game. That was a really bad performance from Ben Johnson. But this is where you've got to ask the question, well, why did he remain on the pitch for the duration of the game? Tilo Kehrer sat there. I get why you don't want to use Kurt Zouma. Completely get it. I don't want to see Kurt Zouma play tonight because I want to keep him for the game against Arsenal. But with Kehrer on the bench, then when I saw Creswell coming on for Emerson, I thought, hang on a minute, that's not a sub that's necessary. I mean, it was quite late as well, but it wasn't a necessary substitution. Ben Johnson was struggling out there from pretty much the first minute of the game until the last minute. Now, he wasn't poor at everything for 90 minutes, but he did some good things, but it was few and far between, and the negatives far outweighed the positives, and he became a bit of a target, I felt they were almost going at him, and they were winning every single time, but he was left on the pitch. Despite him struggling, he was left there to continue to struggle. He didn't get any better. It's not like if Declan Rice, for example, was struggling for the first half hour, fine, you can leave Declan Rice, and you can leave Declan Rice, and he will probably improve as the game goes on. But there was nothing with absolutely nothing with that with Ben Johnson tonight. So I don't know why he remained on the pitch. Soufal, tell you what, Soufal's becoming the equivalent of Antonio at wing back. When he has to do something, he's all right. He's fine. I think his positioning's superb for a wing back. When he's meant to be going forward, he's going forward. When he's meant to be back defending, he's back defending. In terms of what he gives and his work rate, no problem whatsoever. But twice in the first half, he was in really good positions with the ball. At both times, he just dithered and dithered and dithered and then made the wrong decision. The first one, Declan Rice puts him off. It's not Rice's fault, by the way. Rice is making a run at the back post. But you could see he was a way to cross it to Bowen, saw Rice and sort of stopped and started thinking, he hesitated. Then he put the cross in. It was easily gathered. The second one, though, acres of space, loads of time, loads of room. And there was 3 players to pick out in the 18-yarder, Ings, Bowen and Declan Rice again. And he managed to find a Gent defender. And it's just frustrating that we just aren't good enough when we have those moments in order to shine. But tonight was just, it was really bad. I feel bad saying this, by the way. I feel really bad saying this because, like I said, I don't think it's the worst result in the world. But that was terrible. Honestly, that was really, really terrible. The highlight, if you like, the performance, if you like, was Lucas Paqueta coming on and doing his thing. That's bad. I thought Bowen worked hard but ineffective, kept doing the same thing, which is dropping the shoulder, getting onto his right foot and trying to cross it. Every single cross from memory was blocked or deflected heavily. We struggled out there tonight. Ghent were the better team. For 90 minutes, I thought Ghent were tonight. Not at any point did we have a spell of dominance where we pushed them back. We were moving the ball about well. There was nothing, absolutely nothing. Now, this is a cup competition and the results are all that matters at the end of the day. And if this was a one-off, I'd be okay with it. But it's not. We're seeing this is the normal for West Ham. This is now the same as we saw against Fulham, against Southampton. Difference is we won those games, but we played poorly. And the tactics remain the same. The formation's different. We've played a different formation in all 3 games where we've, Southampton, and I'm ignoring the Newcastle one because that was just riddled with major individual errors and it was just a poor game against a really good team. I say writing off, I'm ignoring that. I'm picking out games where we've won 2 and drawn 1. I'm picking out those 3 games. One game we played a variation of a 4-3-3, then we played a 4-4-2, and tonight we've just played a 3-5-2. 3 different formations. But the style, the way that we play, the attitude, it all remains the same. And it's terrible to watch. Effective. It's working. Like I said, 2 wins and a draw. It's effective. It puts a lot of pressure on your defence. Tonight, I don't think defence were very good. But this is why when at the minute there's this thing going around that there's the rumours in the newspaper, the Times, that Moyes could stay up and win this competition and still get sacked. And some people say that would be a bit harsh. But when you look at the performances, it's difficult to sort of argue against it. The referee, by the way, I don't like blaming the referee. And I'm not blaming the referee. He was crap. The referee was atrocious tonight. I mean, that stuff at the end there, it was a really good tackle from the Ghent defender. I realise I've said Genk a few times. Apologies for that. But the defender made a really good tackle, sent him off, and nobody knew what was going on. And when I say no one knew, the players didn't know what was going on. And look at the referee didn't even know what was going on at one point. He boot Downs for what was a really good tackle. That just disrupts Downs' game for the rest of it. Downs can no longer really make a tackle. It's difficult for him because if he gets it wrong, he's going to get a second yellow and he's off kind of thing. I thought it was a horrible game refereed by him. But like I said, we've come away with a draw. Do we deserve it? I don't think so, in all honesty. I think if I was a Ghent fan, I'd be a bit disappointed that they've not won that. I think their strikers, there was a lot of hype around them before this game. You don't have to have seen Ghent to have seen that their strikers are scoring loads of goals. They build up to it. They were talking about how these two are scoring lots of goals, how they play, how fast they are. You could see it. You could see it all. And I thought they were a real handful. Obviously, Gift Orban's the one getting all the headlines at the minute with 14 goals in 10 games or whatever it was. I thought he was, bar Paqueta, I thought he was the best player on the pitch tonight. His technique, his movement, everything that our strikers don't have at the minute. That when you watch the way that they played, and like I said, in particular, Gift Orban played tonight with that sort of freedom and confidence. And then you look at our team, there's none of that there. There's no confidence. There's no swagger. There's nothing. It's so, I was going to say robotic. It's not even that. It's just dreadful. But I'm going to disappear. I'm I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, I feel like I'm talking about a defeat. It's not. We've drawn. We go into next week at the London Stadium. We're the favourites for it, and hopefully we can win. But we're going to have to do better than that, because that was not good enough tonight. Tactically incorrect. But like I said, this isn't all laid at David Moyes' door tonight. This is laid at the players as well, because too many of them were poor. Like at the starting 11, I think 7 maybe, just off the top of my head, had a poor game for West Ham this evening. Now, he couldn't change all of them. And like I said, the one player he should have changed that he didn't was Ben Johnson. How he remained on the pitch, I do not know. But it's not good enough. It's just another game where we haven't turned up, and you come away with a half decent result, but you feel more negative. And I don't like that. When we win games, we should feel good, and you do a little bit, but you also come away thinking you've got away with it a little bit, and you haven't deserved the win. And tonight I'm doing the same. I know we've not won, we've drawn. I'm coming away almost feeling a bit guilty that we've drawn the game, that we didn't deserve to do it. Anyway, Arsenal on Sunday. It's hard not to watch that thinking I'm dreading Sunday. I was trying to not mention the Arsenal word, but when I was watching that game, there was elements of me thinking we're going to get battered on Sunday against Arsenal. But we'll deal with that tomorrow. Arsenal preview tomorrow. Man of match for West Ham, Lucas Paqueta. And it shouldn't be. I don't like it when a substitute wins man of match, but he's the only player that performed well tonight for us in the Claret and Blue. Some players had an okay game. I think Paqueta was the only one really that had a decent one. I'll leave it there. Please drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to Hammer's Chat. Myself and Gonzo. We'll catch you tomorrow.